Hello, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to an episode of Talk with me, Kamal Kaur. Today, I am delighted to welcome Amo back to our studio today. Some of you will remember that Amo came onto the show 2 years ago now with our good friend Manny to talk about his autobiography. Since then, Amo has been on another incredible journey, and I would love for you guys to hear his story, what he's been up to so far. Amo, welcome to SIKH Channel again. You're always very welcome when you come here. You have done so much recently. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about how life was after the show that we did, but also about the project that you've been involved with in India?
Sure. Thanks, Kamal, for inviting me again. Gosh, where do I start? Life's been... I'm in the fast lane at the moment, shall I say. The book that we talked about last time, Walk Like a Man,
Yep.
which is based on my life story and the challenges and obstacles faced by disabled people, and it touched on the issue around mental health. And as soon as that book was published, within the first 6 to 12 months, I've been inundated, and I'm not exaggerating, I've been inundated by messages of support and requests for support as well from our own Punjabi community. The kinds of comments made was, your story resonates with me. It resonates with a loved one that I've got, whether it's mum, dad, brother, sister, son, daughter. They said, whatever you went through, we're going through now. And it was the first time ever that they said somebody had put something down on paper to say, it's like a map, a template of their own life story right in front of them. And and with that, I suddenly felt a huge responsibility, a huge kind of weight on my shoulders that I was now becoming the voice of another set of people, of people from my own community, because I'd spent most of my life working with disabled people from the whole wider community. And the charity that I ran for 30 years was predominantly working with the white disabled community, which has been an honour of mine. But this book kind of catapulted the conversation around disability in the Sikh, in the Punjabi community, in the Indian community as a wider kind of context. And so I've been doing incredible things like keynote speeches across the UK now, speaking to individuals. I'm mentoring so many disabled people in leadership positions now from our own community, and it's been fantastic. On a personal thing for me, the book obviously raised my platform nationally, and I became recognised for the work that I'd done, and because I'd pretty much charted my journey in this book.
Which is, so we've got the first edition here, Walk Like a Man. You recently, which is actually incidentally is 3 years since the book was released.
Yeah, pretty much to the day.
And a few months ago you brought out the second edition, which is still available for everyone to purchase. Which again, I'm rereading the first one, as you can see, because my bookmark is in there. But yeah, you'll have to sign this for me. But yeah, it's an incredible journey. The fact that you've got to bring out a second edition, and you're still making book sales from it.
Yeah, the book's still selling well, which surprises me. Every now and then I get a little note from Amazon saying you're back in the top 10, which it pleases me no end. But the main thing is that the story is still resonating with people. There are a whole generation of youngsters. The readership seems to be parents of disabled children and disabled youngsters, predominantly from the South Asian community. And that kind of really kind of hits home as to that there was a need for this kind of a story to be told.
That's interesting.
So yeah, and the book's done amazing things for me. As you've probably noticed from edition 1 to edition 2, my name's changed to, I've been awarded a doctorate, and then I was I was a lucky recipient. I'll say lucky because I don't know whether divine Waheguru had a lot to do with it. But I got an OBE from His Majesty the King for my services to disabled people, and then recently I became a deputy to the Lord Lieutenant of Derbyshire. So I'm indirectly working for His Majesty the King again. And again, all these kind of things have come off the back of this story that people suddenly were so interested in. And so I'm very gracious to Waheguru for that. But at the same time, I think it's given me another job to do to keep talking about this. That this disabled people and Sikh in the Punjabi community, that story needs to be told, and hopefully raise awareness for future generations. That because one of the things parents say is that you've given us hope. You know, when a child gets diagnosed with a condition, lots of thoughts goes through that parent's mind as to, oh my God, how is he or she going to survive in the future? But then they say, well, what you've done is shown that anything's possible.
Anything is possible, exactly.
So that's what I want to do with this now.
I want to talk more about the project. You've just recently come back from India.
Yes, yeah.
Do you want to tell the viewers at home?
Yeah. Well,
where the idea started? I know we can start anywhere in this journey, but where did the idea come from to go to India to fundraise first? Go to India and distribute the wheelchairs and the trike hand bikes to the Punjabi community there. Yeah,
well, it's interesting. I've been disabled all my life, and I've been going to India. Like many of your viewers, I will go to make a yearly trip to India, like many do, to go and see family and get some fresh air and taste real sabji.
Oh yeah.
We all miss that. So I go there. Now, I've been going every year, and then 2 years ago, I went with my dad. My dad, sadly, he's passed away now, but on that last journey that we took him on, he was in a wheelchair, and I saw life in a wheelchair in India from a different perspective. I thought, gosh, there's no ramps anywhere. There's nothing. And my mind started ticking as to there's nothing for disabled people over here whatsoever. I got by every time I went. I only went for 10 days, I got by. But I thought disabled people who live in the Pind, they live here. And they breathe this injustice consistently. No, there's no state support for them. And I got thinking. So a few months later, I came back. And I raised a few £1,000s. There's £2,000 or £3,000 because I said, well, I want to make some donation to some disabled people in poverty who can't afford a wheelchair, who can't afford a hand bike. So we were going on a business trip from work anyway. We were going to Gujarat, so we flew over to Punjab, and I rang my cousin. I said, go to speak to all the sarpanchas in the surrounding village, and say asks who need one, and he got 12 people together. So we ordered 12 wheelchairs and hand bikes from Ludhiana. There's a manufacturer there, directly from them, and so we got it at almost cost price, and. On one day, we handed these wheelchairs out, and the people that were with me, they were in tears. They were so touched as to what we'd done, and we didn't realise that we were making such an impact. I was just doing it because I thought, well, these guys need to get from A to B. Let's find a way of helping them out.
And it was a necessity, wasn't it? You didn't realise how much it touched people's lives.
And then when I came back to the UK, the following 6 months. My cousin kept ringing me. He goes, Baji, there's people. I'm getting phone calls from all the surrounding villages now saying, we've heard that Amarjit Raju came and did this. What can he do for us? And I said, oh gosh, this is getting out of control. So I raised a few £100, maybe £1,000, £1,500, and I said, right, keep buying them some wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And he'd send me some videos of people receiving these wheelchairs and the difference it was making. And then I got thinking, and I thought, right, next time I go, I want to do something slightly bigger and better. So I spoke to I set up a GoFundMe page here.
Yeah.
And I think I got around £2,500, maybe £3,000 on there. And I thought, okay, that's a fair amount. I can make a big difference with that. But then I got this anonymous donor who said, I want to give you, I can't give her name, but she said, I want to give you £5,000.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, wow, this is such a blessing. So I got £5,000 from her, and then I had about just under £3,000 in total. For with £8,000, we were able to support. We bought 62 wheelchairs and hand bikes, and then all on top of that, there were a number of families where the poverty was so strife, but the little children needed orthopedic operations, things like clubfoot and that kind of stuff, and they couldn't afford it. So we just gave 20, 30,000 rupees here and there, and so in total we gave a fair amount of money, and I think we helped around about 80 individuals that day.
Yeah, 80 individual people from 80 different families.
80 different families
that you
from
supported.
all around the Doaba district in Punjab, which was kind of amazing. They all came to my dad and my granddad's ancestral village, and they held an event on one day, and we gave all the wheelchairs out on that one day, and it was just, the local media got involved. They were so, we were driving into the Pind, and I could see big posters on the walls with me on it, and I thought, oh gosh, this is a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? But they apparently I'd become a little bit of a name over there for having done this the year before, which I wasn't too comfortable with. But at the end of the day, I thought, well, this is how they operate over there. They like to attach an individual to what's going on. So I say, if that's God's wish, then so be it.
Yeah.
As long as we're getting the message across, getting the work done, that's the main thing.
Amazing. So we do have a little video clip to show you of Amo's latest trip from India. So we're going to show that to you guys now.
ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਸੀ?
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਨਾ ਇਧਰ ਰਾਈਟ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਏ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਰਡਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਤਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇ ਦਾਂਗੇ।
ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਨੂੰ ਫਰਕ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਫਿਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਫਰਕ ਤਾਂ ਆਪੇ ਪੈਣਾ ਜੀ, ਬਾਹਰ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੱਗੇ,
ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰੇ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੋੜ ਪੈਣੀ। ਓਕੇ, ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
So, look at the impact. You guys can see the amount of wheelchairs have been bought, the whole journey of the Amo and his team's trip. There was a guy in blue there, wasn't there?
That's right.
The one in the Bal Singh that I know we've discussed. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the story?
The chap you've seen in the blue T-shirt there, his name's Indrapal Singh. The only reason we gave out all these wheelchairs. I only remember his name. I couldn't remember everybody else's because his story hit me so much. In that, when we went last year, we gave him a wheelchair. Now, Indrapal's story is that he was poor. He had no money whatsoever, but to make his own living, he couldn't leave the house. But he was making his own achar at home, pickle. He was making achar at home and selling it to the surrounding houses, and the few rupees he was getting, that was getting him by. And then we gave him a wheelchair, and he started selling it around the Pind. And then we gave him a hand bike. And he said that the impact of the hand bike, now it's a hand propelled cycle, so he's using it, he couldn't use his legs, but he's using his hands to get around the surrounding villages now. He goes, I've increased my business. He's now going to all the surrounding pins and selling Here's a Child. And the thing is, when we went last year, Inderpal's, just looking at him, you could see he was very, very down and depressed about life. When we went to him this year, you couldn't stop him smiling. His confidence, his self-esteem was out of the window. He was buzzing with life. And I thought that £100 donation, it cost £100 for that hand bike, has changed this man's life. And he's now be able to provide for whoever is dependent on him.
Yeah, and enhance his own life.
He's suddenly feeling good about himself.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that we've been trying to say. In my mission in this country has been, disability is caused by the environment and society more than it is the actual medical condition. And that's, the lack of opportunities that disabled people have over there. That's what it's about. I often think to myself, my grandfather, just like many of our viewers here, their grandfathers and fathers came here in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And they wanted a better life. Now, I often think that had my granddad not made that journey in 1963, as a disabled person, I would have been born in the Punjab with no opportunities.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been my life. Inderpal's life would have been my life. I don't know. It's all about the support and opportunities that we as the rest of society can provide for our fellow human being. And that's what I want to try to do. That's Seva at the end of the day. It's Guru Nanak's mission. We want to try and, whatever we can do, you sometimes think, what can I do? I can't give much. And they asked me to make a speech on the day when we were handing these, and I said to the people in the surrounding villages, I said, if you can't give 10 rupees out of your pocket, that's fine. You give your time, give your seva to that individual. Go and see what they need. That's a lot you can do itself.
This is why it's so important that we keep, and this is why we have to keep Guru Nanak Dev Ji's principles in our mind, especially as we're coming up to Bandi Shor Divas, we're coming up to Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab. We need to, work hard but share with others, do seva. And this is what you and your team have been doing. This is what we've got to keep in mind.
And it's a simple principle in human nature that if we follow this, no one will go without around us.
Yeah.
And sometimes, let's be realistic now. A lot of the people that came here in the 50s, 60s and 70s, they are settled communities. We're in good positions. I'm not having to do the dirty jobs that my dad and my granddad had to do, and that's going to be the story with a lot of the people out there. We're all working in air-conditioned offices now. It's not on the factory
and our
floors.
children are very privileged.
They're very privileged.
Yeah.
So if we can give a little bit back, that little £100 that difference made to somebody else's life who you're never going to see. I'm never going to see Inderpal Singh again. I'm not going to see him or any of the other people because they were from miles away from the surrounding villages to where my village was. So but that you've done something to help that individual, and God willing, they carry on leading independent, successful lives, because that's what it's all about. We all want to be able to feel good about ourselves, that our purpose in life is to kind of feed ourselves and then feed the people around us. And that's what I'm trying to do with this, because touch wood, I'm in a privileged position now. I'm not reliant on having to work anymore. I recently gave up my day job, and I'm in a position now where I can try and make a difference to the wider community, and that's where I want to go with this now.
I think everyone would love to be able to do that. So congratulations, well done and everything. I want to just touch a little bit more on the actual fundraising that you did here in the UK.
Yeah.
So you set up a GoFundMe, crowdfunding
page. You set up a GoFundMe page,
and you had an incredible donation. So thank you. Vaiguru's blessings are with the anonymous donor. I think do you think it's because of the impact you showed last time when you first went, and that's the reason you showed the impact and people could see how the benefit they had to the Punjabi community back in India, and that's how people got more people got involved. And I think you're still getting donations now, aren't you?
I'm still getting donations now. I had a £100 donated yesterday, and people, all I did was put up a post on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, saying this is what I did last time, and people want to donate. I didn't really hold any events or anything like that. It was just, touch wood, by the blessings of Waheguru himself. I'm a well-known individual in the Punjabi community, and the work that I've done for 30 years, people, touch wood, trust me, that I'm not going to run up with the money, because there's a big thing about making donations. We often make donations to causes and we never see the impact.
You showed how transparent you were.
You need to show that what you've done has made an impact with this individual and many people like that. And so there was the issue. Somebody said to me, and not just somebody, my wife said to me, she goes, you've got this name, use it for good now. You've got a doctorate, you've got an OBE,
100%.
do it for the human benefit. And so what I want to do is show that, look, I'm a disabled person with lived experience myself. I know what it's like, so I want to now try and help other people from my own community, from people who I will never meet, people 5,000 miles away who I don't really know, but I know that they need support. So whatever I've done is off the back of the great donations that people made, and the team that went with me. I think it's important to show. Everybody paid their own way. They paid for their own tickets. They paid for their own hotels. It was a case that not a single penny of that money in donation was used for any personal use. Every single penny went to those donations.
That's important.
And that's where we really need to be upfront with people, because it's important. And I've actually gone to the stage now that I've set up a new community interest company called Poverty to Possibility, with two of the people that went with me. And then, so it'll be a fully transparent charitable organisation in this country.
Oh, okay, yes.
Working with one
registered,
over there.
Yeah.
So
tell us a little bit more about the team then. So how many were you that went?
Well,
and who were they made up of?
My wife went with me, and my son wanted to come with me this time as well, because he was just overwhelmed with.
Look how, again, the fact that your children still want to get involved. He's grown up. He's got his own life.
He's got his own children as well now, and I know I don't look old enough to be a granddad, but I am. But he wanted to come as well, and the little clip of video you saw, that he made that little video, and then I'd had some ex-work colleagues as well, and then some people in general that just wanted to come. Last year, the Vice Lord Lieutenant of Derbyshire came with me, but he wanted to come this year, but he had already had another holiday booked, so he couldn't. But he's already put his name down for next year.
Wow!
So there's a growing team, a growing number of people that want to come. It's getting a little bit worrying how I'm going to manage all these people to take over there, because it's a big responsibility when they don't really know the country.
Yeah.
But it was great, because we went to the Gurdwara, we went to Harmandir Sahib in Amritsar, and they loved that experience. Went to a few of the mandars in Rajasthan, and again that was all pretty powerful for them as well. So we want to make it.
A lot then.
We did, yeah. We want to make it enjoyable for them as well, because obviously they paid their own way.
Of course.
But the main thing was about this event, the donating the wheelchairs, because that was all about. That's what got them excited in the first place.
Yeah.
That team's going to grow. I can see it happening.
You'll have to do a couple. You'll have to go 2-3 times now and take smaller groups. So what's next? Obviously, you're going to be doing more. Is there anything more for your own journey? Will we see another? Obviously, your story's not finished here. So there is another biography number 2 coming out, I suppose.
There's talk of it. I even mentioned it to Manny, who co-authored with me, a few months ago, and we never really got around to completing that conversation. But a lot's happened to me since the book's come out. It's crying out for a sequel, but I don't know. We wrote that during lockdown, so God forbid we don't have another lockdown. But if we did, then I'd have to put pen to paper. But it took a lot out of us writing it last time. It did a lot of energy, and it was quite an emotional thing for me to recount all the things that had happened to me.
Sometimes when things are hard and you put things off,
Yeah.
but then you realise how much benefit it has in the long term, and because of you sharing your story, is resonated with a lot of people, and you have managed to, you know, carry on your journey. I'd love to. We're running out of time now, unfortunately. We could talk forever. But I would love to invite you back on the show again if you would come back. And I know you've offered a lot of services to the SIKH channel here, which we're always going to be very grateful for.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Amo, for coming on the show. Thank you for watching. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.